Okay, we're live on YouTube. Doesn't look like there's anybody waiting at the moment, but if anybody comes on, we'll be starting in a moment or two, as and when Mr. Corbett shows up.
Corbett.
Here he is. All right, so we're live on YouTube, Pi.
Okay.
And we're down a couple of numbers today. Lancaster Road, well, I know a couple more coming in now. So are we ready to rock and roll?
Indeedy.
Yeah. Right. Okay, let's get everybody in. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to week 3 of Teaching Live Grammar. We had loads of great posts last week on the blog. Loads of people did their inside-outside writing. Some really quite extensive stories that people came up with using that idea, which was interesting to read. I don't know if you spotted any of them, Pi?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a whole bunch of them that people have put up there. I've yet to respond, but I am going to be doing that. It's one of my jobs this week is to write some messages back to people. So well done, everybody. Great to join in like that. How are you today, David?
I'm very well, thank you. A bit cold this morning. Temperatures dropped a bit. So yeah, we're wrapped up and raring to go.
Okay, so we've had a look at the basics of sentences. So things like nouns and verbs. Can't really have a sentence without a thing and something happening. So you've got your nouns and your verbs. And then we've had our adverbs and our adjectives. And then we've tried some of those other little fiddly bits like the pronouns and the determiners. So we're moving on to phrases and clauses, John. And one of the little things I've suggested is that before people come into the session, hold a little quiz. And I always write about this at the top of the teacher's notes. Just get everybody to jot down, what do you know about phrases? What do you know about clauses and how are they used? And then, of course, at the end, you can revisit that and build upon it because hopefully you will have learned something about them. Today, we're going to start with noun phrases. Now, phrases aren't sentences. They're little groups of words that act together. They act as a little unit and they're built around a main word. So noun phrases, not surprisingly, are built around a noun. So if you've got the noun dog, okay, that's a noun. But as soon as you say that dog or that hungry dog over there, that's a noun phrase. So there's always a head word, a lead word, a main word. In this instance, it's dog. But we can add to that. And actually, I've provided a little grid for the initial game. And the game we're going to play is building noun phrases. So partner A is going to come up with a noun for us, like dog. Animals are always easy to do, but of course there are hundreds, thousands of different nouns. Just looking out the window, I've got a house, a cloud, a tree, a car, a road, a wall, a dustbin. So you come up with just the noun, dog. Then partner B does which noun? So that's where you add in, there it is, where you add in your determiner. Is it going to be, and I've given a list of determiners. The main ones, of course, are the, a, or an. An is used in front of a vowel, a, e, I, o, u. So you're going to say this dog or that dog or the dog or a dog or many dog or dogs or lots of dogs or 20 dogs or your dog. Then partner A says what it's like. And we do that by adding an adjective. So we've now got that hungry dog, or that starving dog, or that daft dog, or that grey dog. And then partner B can add on where it is. And we're going to do that with a prepositional phrase. That hungry dog on the pavement. So that hungry dog on the pavement, that's a huge noun phrase. And they're giving you some prepositions to help. So, David, are you going to be A or B?
I'll start with A.
Okay. So you bung me just a noun. That's all I want is a noun.
Caterpillar.
Ha! So I now do the determiner. So I'm going to say some caterpillars.
Um,
Now you've got to add in an adjective. Something caterpillars.
some elegant caterpillars.
Elegant caterpillars, and I'm going to say where they are. Some elegant caterpillars on the rose bushes. Ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum. Okay, so give me another one.
Let's go with something different to. Let's go with a dragon. I know you like dragons.
All right, so we got dragon. I'm going to go for a determiner. So I'm going to say this dragon, this one here, this dragon. Now you add in an adjective.
Dirty.
This dirty dragon. Now I'm going to add in the preposition to say where it is. This dirt. I'm just looking at the box. This dirty dragon beside the school. That's a huge phrase. Okay, after 2 minutes, John will let us know, and then we swap over roles. So we'll just model that. So I'm partner A now. So I'm going to give David cheese.
Oh, John's eyes light up. Oh, your cheese
Your Lancashire cheese.
in the fridge.
Okay, I'll give you another one. So I'm going to go, I've done cheese. I'm going to go for mouse.
Let's go with charismatic.
No, you've got to do a determiner.
Oh, sorry, I'm the wrong way around, aren't I? So those. Oh no, because I'll be changing it to mice.
Well, you can do if you want. You can go for yeah.
Can I do that? Can I change it slightly? So those mice.
Those mice. So I've got to add in an adjective. Those cunning mice.
Beside Pie's fridge.
Okay, very good. I think everybody's got the idea, John. So this is getting the feel for a noun phrase.
Yeah, the trick in the last one is not to be tempted to throw in a verb, because
Yes.
as soon as you do that, you've got a sentence.
You've got a clause or a sentence. Absolutely.
Yeah. So you've got to be careful, not but when you get to the prepositional phrase, just use your preposition and where it is to determine where it is. Right. So I will put I'm going to use my phone timer, because I know that the timer, if I go off the screen with the grid, it causes issues. So I'm going to start my 4 minutes. After 2 minutes, I'll swap you over. So partner A, the noun, partner B, the determiner, partner A, the adjective, partner B, the preposition. And then after 2 minutes, I'm going to swap you over. Right, 4 minutes on the clock, starting now. Time to swap over. Right, that is the end of your 4 minutes. So we need to go straight to the session page, grammar session on the top menu. Excuse me. Click on the Padlet activity number 1 and Pi. You can tell us what we're up to.
Well, we're building on our understanding of phrases, little groups of words, a little group of words, and they're always built around a main word. So that was a noun phrase, and that's a phrase that's a little group of words built around a noun. The very big dog over there, that's a noun phrase. Now we're going to do prepositional phrases, and not surprisingly, they are built around prepositions. So what you've got there on the left is a group of very common prepositions that I've given you. And those are the position words: above, below, beside, inside, outside. There are a few that you can remember, that if you remember from when we did prepositions, there are a few to do with time, the position of time, before lunch, after lunch. So that's a different sort of position. So you've got physical positions, inside, outside. Then you've got time ones. It happened before, it happened after. Just remember that, because that's a little tricky one. Okay, so these are little groups of words built around prepositions. So above. So all you're going to do is invent a prepositional phrase. Try and make it a little bit fancy, a little bit interesting. So above, now I've got to say what it's above. Above the old king's palace. But as John said earlier, do not be tempted to put in a verb to make something happen, because if you do, you've got a clause, because clauses are like mini sentences and they always have a verb in them. So just choose out a preposition like between and then make a little phrase up. It's going to start with the word between. So I'm thinking between the old yew tree and the church. That's all I need. That's a prepositional phrase. I do not have to say what happens. So, John, if we go into Padlet 1, this is, I think, about resisting the temptation to create
sentences. Yeah.
sentences and just do a prepositional phrase.
So I'm going to put my name, where I'm from, and I'm going to write behind my whizzing bicycle.
Right.
So I don't even need a capital letter there, do I, Pi?
You
Because
don't.
it's not a sentence, and I certainly don't need a full stop because it's not the end of a sentence. So this is one of those occasions where I can just write in lowercase all the way through, unless, of course, I use a proper noun.
Yeah. So people will feel obliged to do a capital and full stop. But Jacob, I think you're right. Below the rushing waves, between the fluffy crowds. Well done, Ben and Munro. Above the clouds.
Yeah, see if you can do 2 or 3. You don't need to do them one at a time. Let's see if you can get a few stream of ideas. So I'm just going to edit mine.
It's just to get the feel of it, really, John.
Yeah.
It's not, it's not hard once you've got the idea. After several minutes, well done, Ian. Through the carved doorway, nice word, carved.
Oops.
Just getting a feel for the language, the phrase.
Hey, I've got a good one there. Right after the night before.
Oh dear.
Ian from Chorley St James. After in several minutes. I don't think you need the in.
It's either in several minutes or after
either in several minutes or after several minutes, not through the. That's a copied pies one there. Inside my head, under the dark sea, below the king's throne, behind my whizzy bicycle, copying my idea. Try and come up with your own ideas. It's much more interesting. Behind my cat's back, above the clouds, beside the hot sand, under the tall wooden table, above the king's old shower.
Zachary from Long Parish has gone off on one and has written the large cat kept on eating sausages, which is, whilst it's amusing, it's not the answer to the question, if you see what I mean. You need to do exactly what everyone else is doing. So you can edit that one.
So, yeah, you choose your preposition and then add your above the Lamborghini, under the dark sea.
Now, watch out if you've got Suki and Sid from Trithel behind my cat's back, the back of my cat, you need an apostrophe. So watch out for those little Max and Rennie, monster's mouth. Well done, you've got the apostrophe in. Rough bed. So Abby from Lancaster Road. It's interesting, isn't it? Because you've got fluff, F-L-U-F-F. So you would imagine rough was R-U-F-F. Unfortunately, it isn't. So have a look at the spelling of that one. Basically, you've got them all right, though, Abby. Well done. Well, this doesn't seem to be a problem to people.
No,
John,
we're all whizzing along with this outside. Nobody's throwing in errant verbs or anything. So that's all working quite nicely. So these are prepositional phrases where you've used a preposition above, below, behind, after, etc., and then add something that tells you a little bit more about it. So behind the bus stop, over the rainbow.
Kayla from Bolton Parish, year 6, you've got above the classroom. That's your prepositional phrase, but you've made it incorrect by saying there is a spider on the ceiling. So you've actually got 2 prepositional phrases, above the classroom, on the ceiling. But as soon as you put in there is a spider, you've then made it into a sentence. So you haven't answered the question. And a lot of the grammar stuff is about answering the question.
Near the Forest of Doom. Inside the peaceful cafe, Claudia and Naomi from Long Parish.
I like Kaya and Jasper's below the glistening sea salt water, between the rocks of a river and the cliff of a mountain.
Yes, that's almost poetic there.
Yeah.
You do well done.
So, Kayla, you could go back and edit yours.
Behind the majestic jungle,
Yep.
through the magical castle, into the amazing assembly. That will be a first.
My assemblies were great when I was in school.
Were you? Were they fine?
We always did drama.
Okay.
We dramatized something or other, a poem or a story or something.
On the Haunted Hill, James from Scotforth.
Well done, Tyler.
Regan from Chorley St James, Below the Grave, beside the church, below my small bed. Kaisha from Chorley St James. Right, we'll come out of this Padlet Pie because I think we're well on with prepositional phrases.
Yeah, great work.
So noun phrases were the hungry dog over there. Well, that's the prepositional bit. And these ones are just purely where the action is happening, not just action in terms of place, but also in terms of time. After the party, near. What's another? After, before, yeah, before the explosion, something like that. Right, we'll go back to the session page. And we'll have a look now at Padlet number 2.
Well, having had a go at phrases, we're now going to go for clauses. And clauses are different, John, because they are built around a verb. And they contain a subject, which is what the sentence is going to be about, or the group of words is going to be about, and the verb. And they can be complete sentences. So when you look at the dog ate the bone, the verb is the ate. The dog is the subject. So the dog ate the bone, that is a clause, but it's also a sentence. Now, if we look at the second one, and this is the big question, how many clauses have we got? So look for the verbs. The dog ate the bone, so there's dog sitting eating the bone, and then jumped over the bridge. So two things are happening. So I've got one clause is the dog ate the bone, and the second clause is it jumps over the bridge. So two clauses. Let's look at the third one. The dog ate the juicy bone and a sausage from the table. Now, that's a bit tricky because it looks as if there might be two clauses, but there is only one verb, and the verb is ate. So actually, that one, even though it's longer, is one long clause. So you've got to count the verbs. The dog ate the bone before chewing on a sausage. Two clauses because it's eating a bone and it's chewing on a sausage. So I got two verbs, two slightly different things are going on, two clauses. Let's look at the third one. Well, you talk the third one through for me, John.
Right, well, you've got the dog ate the bone, comma, jumped over the bridge and barked at the farmer. Well, I can see three actions there, Pi. First of all, the dog ate the bone.
Yep.
First verb. Then jumping over the bridge, jumped over the bridge is the second verb. And then the third thing the dog does is he barks at the farmer. So there's another verb. So that means you got the dog ate the bone is the first clause.
Yep.
Jumped over the bridge is the second clause.
Yep.
And barked at the farmer is
Yep.
the third clause. So you've got three clauses.
You've got three clauses. Sometimes they're called multi-clause sentences. That word multi means many. If you think of a multi-story car park, it's got lots of different levels you can park your car on. So multi means many. You get a word like multitude, which means loads of people. So lots of sentences have 2, 3, 4 different clauses. We call them multi-clauses. Now, the game is this. I've given you the car stopped, the wind blew, the eagle landed, he ran down the road, she knocked on the door. They all sentences and they're all single clauses. But I've also given you some conjunctions. Now, conjunctions are those joining words. The car stopped and he leapt out. So what I'm doing is I'm joining junction, joining. I'm joining the car stopping, he leapt out, and I'm joining it with a joining word and. It's a good way to make your sentences extended. So the game is to create multi-clause sentences. So you've got to have more than one thing happening. And there are some conjunctions. So that first one, the car stopped, you could say the car stopped. Now I'm looking at the conjunctions. The car stopped because it had run out of petrol. And so I've got the car stopping, it ran out of petrol, and I had to walk all the way to the garage. So I've actually got 3 clauses, I think, in there. Okay, John. So can you make some multi-clause sentences? Capital letter full stop. You've got some conjunctions to help you. Capital letter full stop, as we've said. So you copy down the wind blew, and then you've got to use one of those conjunctions or more than one conjunction to see if you can make 2 or 3 things happen. So we got the car stopped. What's he going to do? After, so he's joining it, after the traffic lights turned red. So we've got 2 things happening.
I'm just going to go for one there, but I'll come up with a multiple. See if I can turn that into a 3. So I'll edit that. The car stopped after the traffic light turned red.
You can do it simple and.
Police waved furiously.
Very nice.
Quite happy with that one. Car stopped. So I've got a verb there. Car stopped after the traffic. The car stopped. Then I've got my conjunction after the traffic light turned red. And then I've got another conjunction and the policeman waved furiously. So I've got 3 things happen. 3
clauses.
3 clauses there. And I'm quite happy with that one.
And it reads well. Doesn't sound odd.
Yeah, Alex from Lancaster Road. Nice one. The car stopped because it ran out of fuel and I had to walk home.
But there's
Excellent.
one thing
But
missing.
you missed out one thing there, Alex, because you the whole sentence it needs, unlike the first one, the car, so Remy from Long Parish, the car stopped in its tracks because the man jumped out onto the soft grass. Yep, that's 2 clauses. Very good.
The Willows, the car stopped so the dog could cross the road because it was not on a leash and got there safe. I think got there safely probably would be. Haley, the dog ate my cake that was really good and now he is super sick. Yep. The car stopped because the car ran out of diesel and I went to the shop. Now, Logan, there's something that's missing that you know about and I know you know about. You could go back and edit it. The dragon flew, breathed fire and destroyed a building. Lewis, Lancaster. Now, Nura, the car stopped and hit the brakes.
Louis, oh no, he's not. Ignore me. I thought he'd missed a comma out, but he hasn't. He's got the comma in. Just the spacing is a bit tight.
But Nura from Lancaster Road, you've got 2 there. The wind powerfully blew through the city. So we've only got 1 verb. So you need to use a conjunction from that box to extend the sentence. The same with she impatiently knocked on the door outside the house. You now need to use a conjunction on those 2. But that's fine. You can go back and edit. Extend those sentences with a conjunction. I like what you've done, Jacob. Before they squabbled, the cat yawned and the dog sneezed. Well done.
The dog halted after another dog ran in front of him quickly. Yeah, you got two nouns there.
I've just seen a row. Declan from Chorley St James. The eagle landed because it was injured. Yes, well done, but you don't need that comma before the word because, I think.
And the same. Oh no, yeah.
Now, Kenza and Faith, the cat leapt over the car, ducked under the table, and ran to its dinner bowl. Dinner is two ends, but the main thing there is you're going to need a comma after the first event. The cat leapt over the car, comma. That's the first thing that happened. Ducked under the table and ran to its dinner bowl. So you can nip back, you two, and edit that. Get the comma in after car.
Rayed from Scotford. The eagle landed while I was looking at the tree, so I had to chase it. Yeah, that's good.
James from Scotforth, I like your idea, but you've got the wrong sort of it's. When you use an apostrophe, you're actually saying it is. The dragon beat, it is wing. That doesn't make sense. So
that last week, I think, Pi.
We did mention it last week. You need to get rid of that apostrophe, but you've got a nice idea.
Noah and Alice from Trithel. Bill was Bill was eating the sandwich and the started flying. The what started flying, or then it started flying, or it doesn't quite make sense, that one, Noah and Alice. Have a go at sorting the sense out of that one. Beth from Long Parish, the car came to a stop as the traffic lights turned red.
Kai, I think you've missed a word out. You've got the eagle landed with rage. I'd put in as there, as anger and fire filled its body.
Amelia, the cold wind blew, so I put my hood up. Antonia from Long Parish, you've only got one verb. The car had stopped in front of an old man. So you need to add a conjunction there and do a second clause. The car had stopped in front of an old man because, or while, or after.
Like Minnie and Myers from Trithel, the spy leapt over the rooftops, did a somersault and landed on the floor. Boom, boom, boom. Now, Lucy from Lancaster Road, yours are all fine. Each time you use the word because. So push yourself. Try a different conjunction now. Alice and Noah from Trithel, before the dolphin died, comma, it did a final big flop and ate a stone.
Isabel from Fairburn, the car stopped with a jolt because there was a dog crossing the zebra crossing. Yep.
Ruby from Fairburn, she knocked on the door, comma, hoping for an answer. You can hear the pause, listen to it. She knocked on the door, hoping for an answer. So just after the first clause, you need a comma there. We're not bad at this one, actually, John.
Not too bad. The lion pounced on its victim, P-O-U, James, pounced on its victim, sliced it, and ran away from the scene of the crime. Very good. Like that one, James.
Ronnie, you need to reread yours, Ronnie. You've got some good ideas in there, but there's something wrong with it. But you'll spot it if you reread what you've actually written. Right. Do we need to come out, John?
Yeah, we'll come out of this Padlet and we will go back to the session page. And we will have a look at the PowerPoint Pi.
Okay, so this gives us a summary about phrases and clauses. Remember, the clause has got a verb in it and a subject in it. So I don't know why, John, I noticed this, and David will be interested to see this, but can you see, I think I put originally maybe a bullet point or something, but it's put 25 divided by 17 each time.
It's a bit of a weird one. I don't know why that's happened.
I don't know, but I very odd. Anyway, ignore the mathematical intrusions, everybody. So phrases, little groups of words that act together as a unit, and they're built around a main word, like the noun phrase or the preposition phrase built around a noun or a preposition. They're not sentences. Noun phrases built around a noun. So we got dog, that hungry dog on the pavement. And all of those three things in blue, they're all about one thing, the dog.
Yeah.
So we could replace each of those just with the word dog. Now, noun phrases built around a noun. That sour-faced, wizened old man. It's still built. It's a noun phrase built around man. Spot the now. I've given you 4 different phrases, John. So let's see if you can get this. You've got an adverbial one, so that's going to be built around an adverb.
Yeah.
Preposition built around a preposition. Verb built around a verb, and adjectival built around an adjective. So I've underlined them to help you.
Yeah. So the cave was underneath the mountain. It's a prepositional phrase, underneath the mountain, because it's determining where the cave is. It's determining the position of the cave.
Yeah.
Right. He was moving very slowly. is telling me how he was moving. So it's an adverbial phrase because he was moving very slowly. The cat was very beautiful. Beautiful is an adjective. So that's an adjectival phrase.
Yep.
And I am running quickly is the simple verb phrase.
Yeah, it's the verb phrase is am running.
Yeah, am running. Yeah.
Remember, a clause has a verb and a subject. So I am running would be a clause, but when you just got am running,
it's the phrase.
It's a verb phrase.
The underlined bit is the phrase. So underneath the mountain, prepositional, very slowly, adverbial, very beautiful, adjectival, and am running, verb phrase.
Yeah, got it. Now we probably go on to clauses now, I don't know. No, we're still with prepositional ones. I've given a list of the most common ones, plus, towards, before, after, and during, which are the ones to do with time. Towards lunchtime is a prepositional phrase, and the position is position of time rather than place.
Towards could, of course, be both, Pi, because I was walking towards the shop.
Is direction, yeah, is place.
Towards lunchtime. I think it's not that commonly used, that one, only by posh people like you.
Oh, yes. Well, I can't. Yeah. Preposition phrases: a preposition followed by a noun or a noun phrase underneath the table, on top of the table. I think we got that one. The preposition.
Yeah, we did very, very quickly.
We're good at that.
Yeah.
So what have we got here? Clauses, and it's done that weird thing. 35 divided by 17. But anyway, it's a group of words built around a verb, and it has to have a subject and a verb. And the subject is what the sentence is about. So there can be complete sentences. In a clause, something happens, and you can have multi-clause sentences where lots of things happen. We've just been looking at that. Spot the verb, and then if you've got a subject, you know you've got a clause. The dog ate the bone before jumping on the sofa. So jumping on the sofa is another clause because it is the dog was jumping on the sofa. The dog ate the bone, dog jumped on the sofa, and the dog snoozed. So that third one we got 3, then 2, and the first one we've got 1 clause.
Yeah, three verbs.
Be careful, it says. The old dog. This is interesting. So what have we got here? Is this a multi-clause sentence? How many clauses? The old dog from next door sat on the table in the kitchen by the sink.
It's a single clause, Pi, because the old dog from next door that's a sort of noun phrase.
Yep.
And then you on the table in the kitchen by the sink. A jumble of prepositional phrases. But there's only one verb, and that is sat. So it's a single
clause. And it's interesting because the sentence can look quite long, but still only one thing is happening. So it's one clause. So the key is to look for the verb. We go to the next one, John. You get caught out with that. That's all. Right. There is a term which you've just got to learn. It's called auxiliary. It's a nasty little word, auxiliary. In the years ago, there was a job called, you could be an auxiliary. In hospitals, they were people who helped. So I always think of these verbs, auxiliary verbs, as the little helpers. Is running, was running. I do jump high. She has eaten. Does he jump? So those ones that go with the verb, we were eating our meal. That word were, eating is the verb, but the were obviously is to do with the verb, and it's called an auxiliary verb. They're the little helpers. They're not the main verb. They're the helpers. That's just something you've got to learn, John. I'd write that down in my journal or get it up on the wall. You just got to remember that and know that.
Yeah. Okay. So that's yeah. He is running. You wouldn't. He is on its own doesn't really make any sense as a verb.
No.
But he is running tells you about what he's doing.
Yeah.
I was running. Very common to use them sometimes, and we say this a lot in your writing. The boy was running to the shop. You can actually just tighten up your writing by just saying the boy ran to the shop. So sometimes when you're actually writing, you can get rid of the auxiliary verbs and tighten your writing up. But they are it is just something you have to learn.
Yeah, you think of the main verb and then auxiliary is the little helper. Now, these are modal verbs, John. Modal. And again, it's just something that you have to learn. They're to do with possibility. Now, if you look at those four, we can go swimming this afternoon. We must go swimming. So we really must. We're definitely going to do it. We might, well, we might go swimming. We might not. We can, that first one, we can go swimming. It's possible. I don't know if we will, but we can. We must is a definite. We might is, well, we might go swimming. We might not. We may go swimming. That's another, well, we may go swimming. We've been allowed to. It's okay. We may. So I've put the common modal verbs there. And they're all about possibilities. And they mean something slightly different. And again, that's one where you can write sentences and discuss what the difference is. We might go swimming, or we should go swimming, or we should go swimming because it's good for our health. But that doesn't necessarily mean we are going to. We ought to go swimming. Again, we ought to because it's good for us, but it doesn't mean that we're necessarily going to do it.
Okay, so auxiliary verbs, modal verbs.
Yeah.
Two that you have to learn.
We got revisiting those determiners. I give them a list of them. The most common we know are the, a, or an is used before a vowel sound. So you get a cat, an apple, because apple starts with a. So that's a vowel sound. Basically, it's A, E, I, O, U, which you've got to watch out for because they'll give you an. So that's just a little reminder of those. They're pinpointers, the determiners. And again, that's one I think to have written in your journal, up on the wall. Just keep coming back to it till you get a feel for it.
Okay, so we've got the bit that I'm gonna try and remember there is the modal verbs and the auxiliary verbs because they're quite difficult to remember, I think. But you can have a look at that PowerPoint to remind you. Right, so back to the top of the grammar session, and we'll go on to Padlet number 3.
Padlet number 3, just finding my way.
So we've got The dog barked, and the dog barked while the burglars ran. And after seeing the burglars, the dog barked. So what are we doing there, Pike?
Right. So we have an option. We're going to extend the sentences. So your sentence is the dog barked. And there are two ways of extending it. And I noticed some people did this. So you can either put the conjunction and go, the dog barked, and then have your conjunction while the burglars ran, or you add your extra bit at the front after seeing the burglars, comma, the dog barked. So when you look at the bus stopped, you've got to have the words in red, the bus stopped. So you extend it either by going, the bus stopped. Let me have a look. The bus stopped before it got to the bus stop, or you try changing the putting the new clause at the front. So you could say, before it reached the town hall, the bus stopped. Or you could say, because the engine exploded, the bus stopped. Or after crossing the bridge, the bus stopped. Now, what I want you to notice, John, is can you see in that third one where I've put the new clause, the new thing happening at the front? What do you spot there? Yes.
Comma. So this is where you get we call them fronted adverbials, but it's not just. I mean, that's not a fronted adverbial, really. It's putting the whole clause in front of the main clause.
Yes, it is.
The subordinate clause in front of the main clause. There's not an adverbial at all, but it has the same thing. It's putting a comma first. So
yeah, after that clause, put the comma. Yeah, if you put a new clause at the front, put the comma after it.
Yeah. So if I go to the Padlet and I'm going to choose, I'm going to do it like this. I'll show you, Pike.
Well, I think most people can now use a conjunction to extend the sentence.
Yeah. So I'm going to put the plane landed.
Okay.
I'm going to put a full stop, and then I'm going to go the plane landed after the storm.
We'll have a verb, yes. After the storm stopped. Blowing, okay.
Then I'm going to put
after the storm stopped blowing.
And then no, well, I'm not going to. I'm just going to change it completely differently, and
Okay.
I'm just going to put we ate lunch.
After.
No.
Yeah, because after the plane landed.
Yeah.
We ate lunch after the plane landed.
We ate lunch before
the plane landed.
However, because I've used a conjunction there, rather than
there's no comma.
no comma. So we ate lunch before the plane landed. If I put before the plane, now I know. So I can you see what I've done there, Pike. The plane landed. The plane landed. The plane landed is my main clause.
Yes.
So so I've turned. We ate lunch before the plane. So that's the main clause. So
yes.
I'm going to change that one. It's not quite it's a bit trickier than you think.
The rule is, John, if you start with one of those conjunctions
after we ate lunch,
then you're going to need the comma.
Yes. The plane landed. That's better.
So the rule is start your new sentence with one of those words in the box.
Yes.
And then you're going to have your first clause, comma, and the second clause. Right. Yeah. You made a right mess of that.
I did make a mess of it. It's a bit trickier than you think it is.
It is. And I think they're all going to do better than you. Yeah, look at that. Loenna and Adela from Trithel. Because the bus stopped, 5 people missed the plane. Excellent.
Yep. That works.
Well done, Felix. Penelope, you don't need that comma before the word before. Storm blew before it all fell silent.
but if you did it the other way round, if you wrote before it all fell silent, comma,
Then
the
you would
storm
need it. Yeah.
blew. Yeah. So it's moving that clause from the front to the back was what makes all the difference. So I I messed it up by changing my sentence rather than just using the first idea. So the plane landed after the storm stopped blowing. If I'd have turned that the other way around and written after the storm stopped blowing, comma, the plane landed.
Yeah. Well done, Ava and Ben. Evie from Fairburn. Yeah. Lizzie, birthday girl. So happy birthday to you. On the mat, the cat sat quietly. So on the mat. Ah. Because it's your birthday, I'm going to say well done. And I shall leave it at that. Hugo from Lancaster Road. After we left home, comma, the car crashed. Suki and Sid from Trithel. While the birds flew, comma, the storm blew.
Now then, Pi, this one, the bus stopped where the school is. That works. That is because that is a verb.
Yeah, it is.
So the bus stopped where the school is, but you couldn't turn that. Well, you could say where the school is, the bus stopped, but it
Yes.
sounds a bit
odd.
Sounds a bit odd, but it's correct.
So Loena and Adela, you could twist yours round and say after playing tag, comma, she raced up the hill. Although he'd already had dinner, he sat down at the table. Well done, James.
No, Remy from Long Parish. The bus stopped, and then you've got the bus stopped at the next bus stop. Brilliant. Missed a full stop at the end there. Remy, this one, after the driver got a signal to stop, the bus stopped at the next available bus stop. You've got your comma missing. After the bus got a signal to stop, after the driver, sorry, got a signal to stop. It's a really good phrase. The bus clause even. The bus stopped at the next available bus stop. That's the main clause. So you need a comma after your first clause.
Well done, Kitty. Amelia, well done.
Now then, this is an interest, and nobody's put their name on this one. The cat slept. The cat slept after the dog had backed off. Yeah, that is right. Apart from because backed off, there's two F's. Now this one, Pi. The dog backed off, then the cat slept. You need a comma. You're missing a comma. After the dog backed off, because you've moved the clause to the front, although it kind of then the cat slept doesn't work on its own. Dog backed off, then that's complicated. Which one's the main clause there, Pi?
I think it's two sentences.
Yes, it's two sentences, isn't it? Then the cat slept, yeah.
Now, Davina from Bolton Parish, well done. But your third one, while the birds were going north, you need something else happening. So after north, you need a comma. So you might have, while the birds were going north, the snowstorm blew. Well done, Sienna. You've got that.
Now here's an interesting one. Guy from Fairburn Pie. Is this a single clause, but a long and complicated one? The bus stopped rapidly at the sight of the car crash.
Yes, that's one clause.
One clause because there's only one noun, because you've got stopped. So at the sight of the car crash is a noun phrase. The sight is a noun. It's not after seeing. And it should be sight, S-I-T-E, actually. No, it could be either. It could be either. No, that works, but it's only a single clause.
I think at the sight of the car crash is actually a prepositional phrase.
Yes, it is. So it could be at the sight, the sight of, as in the thing that you can see, or it could be at the sight of the place, S-I-T-E, at the sight of the car crash. It could be either. Both work.
I think we need to come out of this one, John. We're
We need
nearly,
to get on to the we need to get on to the blog challenge.
yeah, we're nearly at lunchtime.
I can tell I can hear your tummy rumbling from here, Pi. So
Yes.
blog challenge.
Right. So what we've got here is two on the left there in blue and black. You've got two short sentences or single clauses. The bus stopped. The old lady got off. And the activity is to join them together. So you can see there, I've used a joining word in the middle. The bus stopped, so the old lady got off. Or I've altered it at the beginning. As the bus stopped, the old lady got off. But if you use one of those joining words at the front of the sentence, you've got to have a comma after the first thing. So the activity is to join them together. Now it sounds straightforward. If you scroll down a bit, we've got owls are nocturnal. This means they are active at night. They have excellent eyesight. You might have to tinker around with some of them. Let's just have a go at Bob ran down the road, he fell over.
Well, that one's quite straightforward, Pi, because you could just use as for that one.
Yeah.
As Bob ran down the road, comma, he fell over. Or while Bob ran down the road, he fell over.
While Bob ran down the road, he fell over. Bob ran down the road and fell over, or and he fell over. So you might need to take some words out in order to make it work. But the idea is to use those conjunctions in order to create sentences that join together. So that's it.
Turn two sentences, or in the case of the last one, three sentences into a single sentence. That makes sense.
Yeah, the danger is, John, but it's not going to work if you say owls are nocturnal and this means they are active at night and they have excellent eyesight. That's not a good piece of writing. So you're going to have to think about how to join them best, how to join them most effectively. And you may need to move bits around. You may need to drop some words.
Yeah, so you need to change the order of the sentences in some cases. So, yeah, that's an interesting challenge, that one, Pi. So, yeah, you can add it to the form as usual. And if you look on the right, you've got the posts that you've been posting are starting to appear now in the tags. So you can see that each school, the tags are appearing, and you can, as you post to the blog, then more tags will appear. So we've got quite a few people posted the inside-outside sentences on the blog last week, which was good to see. And I think we're gonna look those out, and we'll leave a few comments for you. So that's good. So that's next week. This week's blog challenge. Turn those two or three sentences into single sentences using conjunctions to make them make sense. Right,
Okay.
Pi. I think that's it for this week.
Yeah, well done, everyone. It's getting a little bit harder now. Bits that you may have struggled with, teachers will have spotted that. In particular, the third Padlet, that might need practicing a bit more, having the subordinate clause at the front of the sentence. So practice the bits that you're not too sure about. But what do we now know about phrases, little groups of words that go around a head word, a lead word, and clauses? What do we now know? Let's go back to thinking about that. So bye from me.
And we'll see you next week for week 4 of our grammar session. So see you next week. Bye-bye.
Well done, everybody. Kept me busy today. Over 1,000 entries on Padlets this morning. So I'm still busy. Padlet 1 and 2 are done. Padlet 3 is nearly done. See you next week. Well done.
Right. Bye-bye.
Bye.